Welcome to our final lesson in our study called Separate Ways. And we're just kind of finishing everything up here, finishing our thoughts on this passage. And, from this text, we learn that worship is at the heart of walking by faith. That's what Abram's story is really about. I mean, the reason why God has Abram in the Bible is to show what it means to have faith and what it means to be justified by faith. And that's what we have here with this guy, Abram. So if we are to live the Christian life, then worship must be at the beginning, end, and center of all that we do. The Bible tells us whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. It's 1 Corinthians 10:31. We also saw in this passage that God will separate His people from the world. God will use the circumstances of life to wean us off the world. Sometimes He will use painful experiences to sour the things we once enjoyed. Sometimes He uses good experiences to draw us to the joy that is found in Him. But make no mistake, the Father will draw His children to Himself, and He will separate them from the world. We learned that we must trust in the promises of God. We may not see all of them fulfilled in our lifetime. We must learn to accept that. But the ones that are fulfilled, and there will be many, must propel us into greater and deeper faith. Abram didn't see all God's promises, but the ones he did see shaped who he was. I mean, it really strengthened his faith. You can see his faith growing. And even though he falters in some of the stories later on, there's some issues there, but we see the faith of Abram shining stronger and stronger as he goes along. Finally, we saw that God, speaking to Abram, caused him to worship. God's word should do that to us today. We have God speaking to us through His word that we read. The call to us in this tale of two righteous men is to follow Abram's example. As James Smith once said, Lot pitched his tent toward Sodom. Abram pitched his toward God. The self-seeking Christian bears no testimony for God. When he does attempt it, it looks like mockery. In Genesis 19:14, the just shall live by faith. Live to the will of God. So that's our story that's our lesson called Separate Ways. Maybe, hopefully, that is our story, that we are being separated from this world and being separated unto God, that we're moving away from the things of this world, looking to just living by sight, but looking more towards living by faith.